Hi, this is Al Davis again. We're at a new project that we're just finishing up. And what I want to do is walk through with you guys and show you some of the mistakes that I've made. And I've been doing it for 20 years. So that you can learn that you can easily make one mistake in a house and it could bust your budget, bust your project, and cost you a lot of money, and your project may not be as profitable as you want it to be. So let's walk through here and show you some of the things that we've done and some of the mistakes that I've made so that you won't make the same mistakes. Come on. As you can see in here, we redid the flooring, we painted the entire place, we took every baseboard and every trim out because we had to make the property lead free so there won't be a risk of getting sued from any tenants. We put new doors on, we did all new trim, new light fixtures. And then you come in here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you one of the mistakes I made that I had to pay for. Come on here. This deck out here was originally, it was a deck on here. And when I looked at the house, I didn't think anything was wrong with it. But once we started the work, the deck had wood on each side. But once we started the work and we leaned against the railing, we found that all the wood inside the decking was rotten. So we had to take that whole deck down and rebuild the entire deck on the lower level and the upper level. That cost us an extra $6,000 and another week and a half of work. So imagine if you've already spent your drawers and you don't have any money left, and you found out that the deck was rotten and you had to replace it, or you can't rent it, you can't sell it. So that's one of the risks that you take when you're doing a renovation in these properties. So be very careful that you won't miss anything. But I want to make sure that you guys understand that there's different things that can go wrong in a project that can cost you your whole project and your budget as well as your money. Let me show you a couple other things that I missed. As you can see, we have the cabinets. We generally put black appliances, but it's brand new. We just put this in this morning, put the microwave. This house, we put the marble countertop in. So this is gonna be a good rental for someone. Once we get rented, it's gonna rent between $1,300 and $1,600 a month. So this will be a great opportunity for someone to actually purchase with $1,300 to $1,600 coming in a month. And we're thinking their payments might be around $600 to $800 a month at the most. So these are one of the properties that we offer in our turnkey program. We pretty much take all the risk out of doing the investment. Let me show you some of the other things that you may run into that you didn't notice. When we first got this property, there weren't any water in the basement. There wasn't any water in the basement, but not until it rained, because it didn't rain during the whole time when we came in the property. It wasn't raining, so the basement was dry. But when we were in here working, let me show you what happened. Watch it here. We noticed that there was a puddle of water right here in the corner of the house, but we never picked up on it while we were looking at the house. And when we started to work, we didn't notice until it started to rain. So that's something that could easily be missed. But with our turnkey properties, we have to fix the problem. And then to the person that might buy the turnkey property, they will not have that problem anymore. So imagine if you would have bought it, did the work, it would have rained when your tenants moved in. You would have had to actually dig out the front or wherever the source of the water was coming from and correct that. And that costs extra money. So that's another risk that you take with the properties. Whereas when we sell our turnkeys, we take care of all these problems. So we took the risk of having all the water damage. And behind the wall, it was rotten, so we had to take the wall out and replace the wall. So that's another issue that you might have to deal with when you're doing a renovation. Also, I'll show you something else. Although this house had the furnace in here, the electric is off because the house was winterized when we purchased the property. So we didn't know if the plumbing was working properly, whatever. So once you purchase the house, you get the water turned on. Underneath the toilet was leaking, so we had to replace the plumbing underneath the toilet. That's an extra expense that you wouldn't do in your original budget because we didn't know because the water wasn't turned on. Also, Baltimore now has a regulation that you have to do a credit check. Your business has to get its credit check ran in order to turn the water on. and you have to wait for the water coming. So it took us almost 3 months to get the water turned on in the property. So that's something that could hold up the whole project, because my guys didn't want to work because they didn't have water to mix the mud for the drywall. So that's another setback that you can be exposed to. Also, when we purchased the home, we actually get a lead test. And when our lead guy come, he actually marked almost every wall in this house, every baseboard, every trim. So all of that had to be removed in order to make the property lead free. Let me show you upstairs when we done upstairs to the property. We had to replace all of this because all of this was lead. All of these were lead, so we had to replace that.
Oh yeah. I'm down with it. Chop his ass up. Yeah.
And let me show you guys working and as you can see, we got the guys working. We had to replace all of the trim around the window. We had to replace the baseboards. We installed new carpet, new lighting fixtures, and we had to paint the entire house. But as you can see, it's gonna be pretty much a brand new property that's lead free, which will limit the risk of whoever purchases the property. This is gonna be a nice 3-bedroom. And I'm gonna show you the deck that we had to replace upstairs. This is another deck that was rotten. This deck was rotted, so we had to replace this deck as well. So it cost us a nice dollar to do the renovation in this house, but it's well worth it now. We're proud of the work that we've done. It's lead free. It's gonna be rented to a government subsidized program between $1,300 and $1,600. It's a fenced in backyard. So I think it'll be a great investment for someone. We took a lot of risk on the property. We did the rehab. It's gonna be pretty much maintenance free. It's gonna be pretty much guaranteed income. So, give us a call if you're interested in talking to us about one of our turnkey properties.